Today's guest is a powerhouse in veterinary marketing, podcasting, and digital strategy. As head of veterinary sales and marketing at ELvation Medical, host of multiple shows, and a master of AI driven content, Joe Alex Lemon is reshaping how we think about branding, healthcare sales, and personal visibility in the veterinary world. But today we're digging deeper into the failures, into the future, and the fire it takes to truly stand out. Joe, thank you for joining us today.
Coach Ryan, bro, man, thanks for the dope opening though, bro. I think that's a great way to come on. Intro music, kind of get you hype, almost like you're walking into the ring. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm glad to be here, bro.
Oh man, thank you. I've been I've been waiting to get you on here for the longest, and I'm so
Yeah,
happy.
you're
Um,
here now, bro. It's good, man.
so let's just jump into a couple questions and get to know you and get to know your ideas.
Yeah.
Um, you've been ahead of the curve using AI for content creation. What do you say to marketers and reps still afraid of automation?
You know what? Honestly, I think it's good to have a healthy fear at times of what you want to see. Um, just of the future. Like it's built into our whole DNA, right? We're like looking for danger out there, so it's natural to be afraid of certain things that are coming in that are new, that could be different than what you're currently doing. But I tell you what, AI doesn't care if you're afraid or not. Like at the end
Yeah.
of the day, it's one of those things where you just have to find out your actual lane. And I don't believe everybody has to go about automating everything and trying to AI everything that's all aspects of their workflows of their life. But I do think that you really should find ways to make your life easier with AI and try to simplify some of the things that you just don't like doing with AI. But the most important things, I think, the more you have that human touch, the better, man. So yeah,
Sure, sure. Let's be real. How much of the LinkedIn thought leadership is just fluff?
dude. You know, this kind of brings me up to this whole like dead internet theory
Yeah,
conversation. Have you ever explored this at all? Are you into that whole idea?
not too much. I know.
So just for the audience sake, there's this one, and I guess it was a real case. I just started researching this earlier this week, but they believe that 90% of the internet is like bots. And so
Mhm.
there was this group out of Zurich, I believe, over in Switzerland, actually a university that actually did this. And one class like created a whole bunch of bots for this Reddit channel or forum and whatnot, and they literally had people like arguing back and forth with bots, and they changed people's minds on certain topics. So they
Mm,
created like controversial bots that weren't real people, like to be argumentative, like saying Black people didn't believe that Black Lives Matter type conversations, right? You know what I mean? Like, so
yeah.
controversial bots. Um, and people were like doubling down or like acting like they changed their mind based off the back and forth. So anyway, long story short is that I believe a lot of that stuff is regurgitated. A lot of that, things that we're seeing from a thought leadership standpoint is just people pulling stuff out the ether and just kind of giving it up.
Mhm.
I believe a lot could be just some like AI generated type of content or bots that could be involved. On LinkedIn in particular, though, I think people are a little more cautious about that because their name is going to be tied to it. So
Yeah,
I think people do think first before they just kind of throw things out there.
that makes sense.
Mhm.
Can AI ever replace the human element in sales?
Look, it's already happening for some things, to be quite frank. Like, if you're using the AI, like voice AI, that I've been playing with a lot. If you use AI for inbound things, like if you're interested in something, Ryan, and like you're like, man, I'm about to go buy this basketball type training hoop, right? Where it kind of shoots the ball back at you. You
Hmm.
might not need to involve a salesperson for that because you already know what you want, right?
Right.
If it's something that's a little bit more of a bigger investment, hey, I need to get a whole construction for a basketball court with the actual robots that's going to shoot the basketball to me. You probably want to talk to somebody to make sure you're going to do that right.
Right.
So I think the more complex the actual sale is, the more human interaction you're going to want to have involved. But it is getting to the point, remember, some of this, like, if somebody's already interested in your product or your service, you can leverage some of that voice technology, and it's pretty decent. I wouldn't say it's there to kind of close a big deal, and it's going to be bringing on deals without that. But yeah, like a lot's going to change for that to happen. But still, it is coming along. But as salespeople, I don't think we should be concerned about it taking our roles, as long as we're doing our main parts of bringing value that's like you just can't get everywhere. And that's the thing about value. You have to be something that is not just readily abundant. You bring in something that's fresh, that's new, some different type of insight. And, if they can get that anywhere, then it's probably not that valuable.
Right.
So as long as you're finding ways to kind of create that actual, like, trying to level up all your relationships, I think you'll be just fine.
Though, I think the mindset behind that too, especially, I don't know, the way I think about AI is using it for what it's for and not letting the idea of AI get overwhelming. It's there as a tool. So use it for what it's for and have the right perspective, and you'll be able to always leverage and differentiate yourself from that AI.
That's a fact, man. It's even kind of double down on that too. I feel like there's a separate conversation that's like not being had a lot, but it's starting to come up more. Where like some people believe in like kind of turning themselves into robots, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And when you start pulling on the thread of some of these conversations, and you can believe whatever you want to believe. I'm not the guy here to tell people what to do with their lives, but if that's your concern, then that's one. If that's what you're up to, then that's one thing, right?
Yeah.
If your goal is to like have that transhuman experience where you become a robot and you got the chips on you, all right, that's a different agenda. Then yes, yeah, for those people, you should be concerned. But if that's not it, and you view it as a complex tool that can help you do some repetitive tasks that you probably didn't want to do anyway, then it's a great tool. It's like a tractor, versus everybody having to plow.
Right.
Why not use a tractor?
Yeah. So I want to turn it over to you. You said you had some questions before I jump into my next set.
Well, man, I feel like me and you were chopping up right before we kind of press record, bro. And I always love having these conversations with folks like off mic, because you kind of get to the real. I think people that don't podcast, and you can tell me if I'm off base, but when you have guests on, it's the magic before and after.
Yeah, always.
Like that's when you really get the juice.
Yeah.
And man, you kind of share some things about your vision, share some things about what you're, how you're currently grinding, getting things done. And I just highly respect that mindset. And you being vulnerable, bro, I think is a big piece of this game and of being successful and as a content creator, influencer. How do you label yourself, by the way? Do you go with content creator?
In all honesty, I don't know. Okay, so yeah, I asked my step kids. They're like, "Oh, you're not a content creator," because I'm not following, having the camera follow me everywhere I go and things like that. But what I think I am a content creator because I am creating content, but not in the traditional way. I'm creating meaningful content in my eyes. I'm creating content that is important work and work that affects and changes lives, not just shows what I'm doing at a specific time of the day. I think it's maybe reporter-esque, but yeah, I somewhere between there.
Man, look, I think sometimes people don't like either. I feel like there's two different spectrums when it comes to the influencer or content creator mind. Like it's almost like a barbell. Like some people like love it. They wear the badge proudly, throw on the the vest, content creator. I do this, and other people are like, man, don't call me a content creator, right? Like, and I understand where they come from, but I will say though, man, it's what you're doing though is deeper than just like look at me type stuff. And I think that's what everyone's trying to avoid when they say don't call me a content creator type attitudes. Like they're not trying to put on an infomercial like you're on some QVC TV show, you're trying to sell your products, but you're trying to do something that feels like you want to help other people. And we were chopping it up, and I'm like, you work at a hospital, of course you would do this, right? Like I mean, so your mindset is obviously right where it needs to be, but I think it'll be good for the audience to hear it because I'm not sure if you shared it with them,
All
man.
right. Oh no, I haven't.
Like why do you want to do this for other people? I mean, I think people should have a mission, but
Yeah.
what's your purpose behind this content?
Okay, before I answer that, I really I like this question because um going into 2025, and I am still fairly new in the game and still learning and growing. But one of the things, two quotes. Um, Number one, my dad used to tell me, "Hey, if you don't want to be X, Y, or Z, then don't.
Hmm.
You have the choice. You have the wherewithal. You have the mindset to pick and choose whatever you want, whatever path. Then do it." And I'll say,
Yeah.
and he'll say like, "What's holding you up?" And oh, I'm tired, embarrassed, and he
Mm-hmm.
said, "Okay, tell me when you're ready." Walked away,
True
and
that. Yeah.
those lessons really stood out to me, especially going into my 30s, because it made me realize that I do have the power. And my motto for 2025 is to never forget my why.
Hmm.
And that for the whole year, no matter what I'm doing. And it's helped me because even through building athletic conceptual training, which there was some confusion about, oh, is it athletics? Is it veterinary? Is it this? Is it that? And I feel like everybody just wanted to put me, or not put me, but they wanted me to state where I was and stick to that route.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, my why was bigger than one route. And my why is for both athletics and veterinary care, it was to highlight the unheard voices for all the people, RVTs, vet assistants, tech assistants, VTSs, veterinarians, hospitals, from the basketball players who have the talent and the basketball players who don't have the talent, from the student athletes who are trying to build their skill set. I see you, and I want to know your why. And sometimes in life, so I'm the eldest of six kids. So
Oh wow.
something that I learned early is that if you show someone you believe in them,
Mm-hmm.
that's enough power and motivation for them to get done whatever their goal is.
Mm-hmm.
So I am trying to spread that to everybody. I believe in you.
Super dope, bro.
Yeah.
Like, and we haven't chopped up, for any long period of time. We hopped on the mics, had a great convo prior, but I think that piece of why you get into it is massive. It's massive, man, because people get into content, and I'm speaking for myself. I've gotten into plenty of content
Mhm.
without a real purpose, and I don't think that's wrong either, though. Honestly, I think
Right.
sometimes if you got it in you, just get it out of you, and then you'll see where it flows and develops. Just give it some time to kind of
Sure.
marinate and really try to develop. But after you get to this point where you're at now, like, man, you got a batter in your back, and you got people that are needing that type of platform. Is kind of how I
Mhm.
see it. So, man, I think that's dope, man. When we think about AI from your space, bro, what I mean, because both of us
Yeah.
have this here, but yeah,
Uh,
tell me how you're viewing the whole AI age and all that, man.
well, I actually enjoy it. I think that what I was saying earlier is my mindset going into it. I use it as a tool.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but to be honest, I am moving between working in the hospitals, working a couple different hospitals, and having a family, and running this business, and doing podcasts in between. AI is helping me a lot.
Hold up. I don't want to fly past this, Brian. All right, you said a couple hospitals. I was thinking about one. So for
Oh
the
yeah, no.
audience's sake, do you mind sharing like what your day to day is? You know what I
Uh,
mean? Like, 'cause
okay, so Um, yeah, for the beginning half of the week, I'm at one hospital. From the end of the week, I'm at a different hospital.
Mm.
I work overnight shifts because it gives me the time in the day to, like right now, to be able to fit in um, my work, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and my pursue my goals and my dreams and wishes and things like that. So um, in between, I try to do some training as well. That's been a little bit slower lately, but God is good, and we're just trucking along, man. I believe in myself. I believe in my dream, and but
Of
I have
course.
responsibilities as a man to take care of my family. So I'm not gonna let that drop.
You
But
have any
I'm also
kids?
I have two step kids.
All right, right on, right
Yeah,
on. What's the ages?
14 and
Okay.
17.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
All right. So you got
yeah.
some old heads at the house.
Man, I mean, it's eat and drive. That's it.
No, 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 man. But like, thanks for kind of sharing that. And I think to me in this AI space, I think it's so important. And something I'm challenging myself to do too is like, it's so important to be like just real about what people are doing. Like
Yeah.
your belief in yourself shows. Like you tell me doing day to day, like, hey, I took on the night shifts, I can cook and do, me throughout the day and have some more time for that. That's A1. It's funny. I think I was sharing with you over text, like as we were going back and forth. Like I used to work overnight, and it
Mhm.
freed me up to kind of go to school and do other stuff. So like I respect the grind, and to me, I think A players respect it. People that are trying to push things forward. I
Yeah.
don't care how good they show up, and it's the part that always gets me about people. I have a good friend who's like, man, one of his mentors was like, man, like, he's like, man, he didn't really trust me to do such and such. But I was like, and he was talking about all these things that he has, and all these things that like he has now on the outward surface,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And you would think like, oh man, he's cooking, he's killing it, doing this. I'm like, honestly, you don't know what people have going on.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You don't know. And it can look pristine on the outside and they could be having a horrible time on the inside, bro.
Yeah.
And I've been one of those folks. I can give you some real stats on how that looks and feels. You can be in great shape, you could be making great money, and then it still doesn't feel right because maybe your purpose isn't aligned. Maybe
Mm.
you're the main things to you. You're not really, addressing, or you just had like a life thing that happened to you that's totally out of your control. And all those things will hit us all at some point. And that to me is the best way to show up during this AI age. I
Yeah.
think the more you do that, I mean, like, and then the AI really is like just a tractor or however you know what I mean? Because AI is not going to show up and tell you, I worked overnight and I'm taking care of my family. Like,
Mhm.
it's not going to
Mhm.
do that. So like,
Yeah.
anyway, yeah.
It's AI has been beneficial for me too because I mean, it really is time saving for me.
Yes.
It allows me to quickly analyze a situation, a project, a potential lead, break it down into the important parts so that I can execute efficiently.
Yeah.
And those tools, just it just helps me stay organized with everything that I have. And I would even say, like, I don't think I could be as organized without those tools.
Man, it really is it really opens it up for a lot of folks. And I think that the people that kind of look down upon it, don't get me wrong, if you got your systems in place, bro,
Right.
like you're great. I'm in Darren's cohort right now on LinkedIn, and like Darren doesn't use any AI. He's just got a crazy phenomenal system that he throws in, and he likes it without the AI, right? But he's
Hmm.
killing it and it's working well for him. And
Yeah.
that's like, so like know your spot. It's kind of like if
Right.
you're a point guard, stay up top, man. You don't have to you don't have to get in the paint.
Right.
You don't have to do that,
Don't
So
go down there.
yeah, you have no business down there. But
Right.
but for others who are trying to find out their position and you're trying to like figure out what's going to help me optimize, what's the right tool to kind of experiment with. AI is a great way to go about it. Um, and you mentioned something earlier too, and I'm just kind of flowing with you now for a second. Is
Sure.
like
Sure.
people in the in veterinary medicine. The part that surprised me a lot when I first got started like 6 months ago in this space, coming from like all the sports medicine stuff,
Hmm.
was that the amount of like just burnout and depression like it's a real thing, man. Like I think
Yeah.
that is like that is bigger than what I thought. And so when you start talking about what you're up to and giving certain people voices and just like, giving them opportunity to kind of get that off the chest, maybe find new opportunities, who knows? I think that is something that people don't realize how therapeutic podcasting can be from that standpoint.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
um, I know I also work with a lot of, you've had a lot of athletes on the platform, but I'll share this with your audience because I think it's important. Like one of the things, because I'm on the other side of the table, I sell to veterinary clinics, probably hospital like
Hmm.
yourself, but and we're always looking for like talented folks that already know the industry.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's really a shame because you can make great money doing medical device sales and med tech sales, and could be great work life balance depending on how you want to set it up, or it could really be grinding. So
Hmm.
it's not always good, but the money can be phenomenal for a lot of folks and people that have your type of experience or the vet techs or like anybody that's been inside of a veterinary hospital. I don't care if you're at the front desk to if you're, an actual technician just working on, small aspects throughout the clinic. Like you'll be shocked on how valuable your information could be for a medical device company. And
Hmm.
I tell people like, man, my best closers are vet techs, people that
Hmm.
have worked inside hospitals. Like those are the opportunities that you can do on the side. You can get paid good referral, fees just for introductions. And I don't think a lot of people really know that.
Okay.
I try to say anytime I can get in front of folks to have an audience with that, because it's like, you can make great money, like just doing what you do and have a nice little side hustle where you kind of throw referrals to certain people that are looking for certain things.
Yeah.
Don't sell your soul. So give a product that you believe in or companies that you like.
Right.
None of that. But with that, you can find good partners that you can go make some great money on the side with. And when I was on the healthcare side, on the human side, I should say, there was a massage therapist who was on, remember she telling me she was on welfare for a while, and she was, and she was just not really making a ton of money in massage therapy, and she doubled her income working 20 hours a month just doing side hustle stuff with us. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, and she
I
was like,
see.
"I can pay more taxes." I wasn't trying to do that, Joe. but it's like those opportunities are there, and I don't think people talk about them. And when you go to apply to these jobs, they make it seem like you got to have. Hate to see like you got to have all this experience just to get started. I'm like, that's the dumbest thing in the world. You want an
Mm.
entry level position, but you won't give them the opportunity to kind of get the experience, but you want the experience for entry. It's backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll get off my platform, man. I'm
I
off
see.
my
I see.
horse.
Okay. Well, yeah. Wow. Thank you for dropping that. I didn't know any of that, and but even that part. Um, and then the last thing before we jump into some more questions is just this is why this platform is cool because uh, earlier you alluded to burnout, and
Mhm.
I've been able to interview um, therapists, nurses who turned into life coaches, and um, you know, people who are going down the mental health journey and being advocates for folks and things like that. And I just really encourage each and every one of you to like chase your dream. Chase your dream. A lot of what I get is when I do podcasts, it's like, oh, I'm nervous. I don't want to be on camera.
Yeah.
And once you get going, you realize the power that you have, and you never know who you'll affect by being bold.
Yeah, like there's a big thing about being embarrassed and rejection, and people are looking at me and
Hmm.
talking about me, all the rejection stuff that everybody we all have it. I promise you, we all have it.
Yeah.
And especially in sales, you kind of train yourself to have thicker skin, but you still don't want it. Like
Right.
nobody wants to be told no. Nobody's looking for rejection. However, you realize though that people are dealing with themselves
Yeah.
and they got their own thing going on. And I can't be so arrogant to believe that me trying to present something I believe is valuable is what's throwing off their day. You know what I mean? You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
Like more about, to me, it's about finding the right people at the right time. They could be the right person at the wrong time. And it's not no love lost. And unless you try to internalize it and have a heart for the person, I think it just opens up doors and pathways for you to kind of do whatever you really want to do.
Yeah. Wow. I feel um, one of the things, Joe, that I really believe in, and everybody finds this at different stages of their lives. Um, but I think it's important for each and every one of us to start addressing our own issues, our own mental health issues, our own whatever issues, because you never know when opportunity strikes, and you want to be in the mindset and the mind frame to have meaningful conversations. And I can't express from being at work and I'm having a bad day, but then some client comes in super distressed and feeling down in the dumps about, oh, I can't afford this estimate because I didn't know I needed pet insurance and things of that nature. And being able to have those meaningful conversations where people leave feeling supported, having meaningful conversations where, I'm training this kid and I'll never be good, but believing in them and breathing life into them, and them leaving that training session and saying, I think I could do this. For me, it's all about meaningful conversations.
Man, people hate the word sales, but when I tell you that what you're talking about, to me, is how I view sales. Like, I view
Mm-hmm.
it as the person that's willing to put their neck on the line and do the good thing first,
Yeah, yeah,
whatever it may
that,
be.
yeah.
Like, because if you're selling someone on trying to, I mean, as crazy as it sounds, but you see it all the time, I'm sure, working in the hospital, but when someone has to, bring in their pet, they didn't know that their pet was dealing with cancer or whatever's going on. And this is my experience. And then somebody's console you to help you kind of navigate the next steps, how you want to play things out. And it's like, that's a sale. You're being
Mm-hmm.
persuasive. You're trying to get me to kind of, level, calm down a little bit, level set.
Mm-hmm.
Someone coach someone through a very expensive treatment that might be, and you can't give any guarantees. It's not like
Right,
you put some money up, it's going to be a guarantee behind it. So
right.
we got to let you know that that's a sale.
Yeah,
You're selling
right,
the whole time.
right.
And this is why, like, honestly, I just, when I find people that have your type of experience, or just anybody in your space, bro, like, because you guys do this, it's like there's so much opportunities if you're open to them. And I'm not just preaching, I'm preaching to the audience too. Probably
Sure.
sounds like I'm trying to sell you on this, but to the audience, man, it's like, there's opportunities on the other side of the table, and they're looking for good people to have experience. Because if you don't have that heart thing up front first, everything else doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So, you know, Joe Lemon, Athletic Conceptual Training Partnership. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Chop it up,
Sold,
bro. Chop it up.
sold. All right.
Let's chop it up. What's up?
What's the biggest mistake companies make when trying to sell to veterinary hospitals?
you know, so after being in space for, like I said, 6 months, the biggest mistake I ran across was thinking it operated like the human side of the business.
Mm.
To me, it's a big difference.
Oh,
Like, it's a
yeah,
big difference, bro.
yeah.
Like, and good and bad with that difference. I'm not. It's just, it's different. And the best part about it is that I haven't come across a prospect, a client who wasn't doing it for the animals. Just haven't.
I will tell you, most of our veterinary purists hate getting taught, led,
Mhm.
mentor by someone who has not been in the field.
I could tell.
I get that.
I could tell. I mean, like, it's the biggest learning experience, bro.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, you know, it quickly, I was like, oh, this is way different. And not that the human side doesn't like, surgeons don't want to talk to a lot of other sales reps, but they're open sometimes to hearing about the technology, and they know how to
Mhm.
kind of implement it. But no, man, like I just haven't seen. I'm sure they're out there. I just haven't seen them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't know a person out of the thousands of people that we reach out to on a regular basis who's like, nah, I just want to make some money. Like,
right.
I can't say the same about the human side. Just being
Yeah,
honest.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's probably the biggest takeaway, I would say.
Hmm. The veterinary field is getting corporate fast. How do you
Mhm.
cut through that red tape as a sales leader?
So it's there's a big difference between a simple sale and a complex sale, and that's the difference between how
Hmm.
you cut through, I believe, because when you're trying to sell to just your business, right? If I just want to sell you a thing, fill in the blank, then I just have to understand you and what's important to you and see if what you're trying
Yeah,
to do is going to be a good solution for what I have to sell. But for corporate, you have to bring together all the stakeholders, or
yeah.
at least a couple of them, and you need a couple people to champion you. So you have to understand that if you have somebody that calls me up and says, "Hey, I'm with this large corporation. I'm interested
Mm.
in what you have to sell," it's like you also got to know that, man, like they, you don't need to sell them; they're
Right.
already in. That could be annoying,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
what you need to do is equip them with the right information to help kind of spread the message up to corporate and find out who's the CFO and then talk money with that person, find out who's the actual chief medical officer and talk
yeah,
science with that person. And so you got to kind of like break down the org in a different way for a larger corporate sale. And I think that if you take on the same mentality as I'm selling to one person to corporate, you're going to miss them every time.
yeah. That's simply put.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, should veterinarians?
Hold on, right
Oh,
before we go to
oh,
the next one,
oh, okay.
because do you work for corporate, by the way? If you don't mind me asking, you don't have to say any names,
No,
but
private.
okay. So from your standpoint, what's the difference? Have you ever worked for corporate? Let me ask you
Yeah,
that.
yes.
What's the difference in experience on the inside?
Oof. Um, so okay, are you saying you're a rep, you're coming in and
Just, just purely from your POV, no
mhm,
reps coming in or anything else. Just like your experience as an employee working with, the founder versus working with a larger
yeah.
corporate group.
Well, I mean, I would echo what you said, but then also add in understanding that you're likely not going to get anywhere. You
Mhm.
know, um, number one, that red tape is too thick to cut. Number two, they are in a position to take the idea and
Mhm.
do with what they please. Not to say I've experienced that at all, but when you are presenting anybody who's presenting an original idea solution, you want to be able to see it through. And corporate, I don't think that's not there. Private, you get a little bit more recognition, you
Yeah.
know, for just being able to have that face-to-face relationship with your owner, and be able to say, hey, a little bit more leeway to pitch.
Mhm.
And yeah, I think that would be the biggest difference.
I got a story behind corporate versus like working with founder type setup. Um, so I was working for the startup, and we went on to like Shark Tank, right?
Hmm.
And we got invested in by like Damon John.
Okay.
And one of the things that I did to help kind of land the deal with Damon was that I sold into Dick's Sporting Goods, which is obviously a larger
Hmm.
box retailer, and we were selling like this fitness apparel technology. It was like a weighted clothes basically.
Yeah.
And long story short, a playbook that is common by big corporate retail boxes that if you have innovative technology and you don't have a patent on there, they're like, "Oh yeah, I'll bring it in. Yeah, let me see that. Bring it,
Yeah.
a whole bunch of stores." And then if it does well, they'll be doing that next.
Oh yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and just right to your corporate part is that um, you can bring an idea, but if you don't have that idea buttoned up in a way that has your stamp on it, or you're able to drive it forward, then yeah, it can get gobbled up in big box and big corporate. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, most people don't have just the pure backing and financial backing. If it's just an employee of that corporate, they probably don't make anywhere near the amount of money to be able to button it up soon enough.
Right.
And that's just the reality. Vet med, we're still working on wages.
Mm-hmm.
We're still working on, um, people not having to have two and three jobs to make it.
Is it very common for a lot of people to have a couple jobs?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. You go into a hospital and you may get a couple who don't, but you generally live really close to the hospital or have a significant other or whatever, etc. But for the most part, people who are actually making moves in life have to have a couple different jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is the whole the way of the world today. That's for sure. And I've definitely heard the wage discrepancy conversation happening a lot in vet med.
Yeah.
Do you feel like it's better in corporate? Do you feel like corporate does a better job of
No,
that, or do you think it's better with the private?
private. I make more money private.
Okay, it's good to know. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they have structures and budgets, and not that private doesn't, but there's a little bit more, again, alluding back to the sales and the different, private, a little bit more willing to hear you out. And there's
Mhm.
some that are, I will say, the private practice that I'm at now does a really good job at um, hearing folks out and doing what they can to make that happen. But you're gonna work for it though, you know. Yeah,
Yes.
I mean it takes. I mean, so like private. I mean, it takes money to make money and to give money, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't just fall out of anywhere. And a lot of people who aren't business savvy don't understand that aspect of it. They just want to show up and demand what they demand. But
Yeah.
where's that money gonna come from? Like, are we in budget? What about all the other things that you need to use just to do your job? Like
Right.
the equipment, like the supplies, is there inflation? Are these tariffs? Did they
Mm-hmm.
do anything to our, our bottom line? And that's what I try to bring to each hospital that I work with is just a deep understanding of what it is to actually make a buck. so
Which is important, man, because I think that what you're saying is one of the reasons why I really enjoy sales, because yes, you should ask for raises in sales, and you can, but normally it looks a little bit different about how you approach it, because you can approach it from the standpoint like, man, I want to make more commission, and so
mhm,
or I want to change up how my comp plan looks based off my performance, and
mhm,
so normally especially working with the owner, they can justify that a lot easier, versus
yeah,
the person that just wants the guarantee thing, and I think that there's pros and cons with it. So I sometimes you gotta have the guarantee thing. So I get that.
right,
I have a salary. I got a family, so
yeah,
I need some type of consistency happening. With that though, if I'm looking for more and I'm looking to elevate, it is nice to be able to kind of have that, extra gear that you can shift into to
yeah,
help kind of grab some more income whenever you need it.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
That it's a plus, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to be able to flex.
Yeah.
And yeah, yeah,
Yeah, bro.
yeah. Great question, great pivot.
Hey,
Yeah.
man, we're just going back and forth, man. Let's see how this is going to play out.
Do you think most reps in this industry are doing enough to be valued, or are they just dropping off brochures?
What's crazy is that I think sales is going to have a big shift over the next 3 to 5 years.
Hmm.
Absolutely. And my take is this, and it might take longer, but it might be short. Who knows? But AI, this is getting pretty good. Healthcare as a whole is a lagging industry. Tech is pretty obviously pretty forward and pretty out there. Consumer goods is pretty forward and pretty out there.
Mm-hmm.
And look at what's happening, even for complex sales that happen in tech, the multi-million-dollar deals sometimes and six-figure deals. Like it buyers are waiting longer to engage folks. Where I'm going with this is that, like in healthcare, we're lagging, so we still go door to door a lot of times. Door to door can work. People open doors and you get the face-to-face interaction that sometimes you just couldn't get anywhere else. But I do believe as more people step into content creation, they get online and get the message out sooner about what they're up to. It resonates with their audience in a meaningful way. They go on podcasts, they talk to other people that can share what they have going on, and if it's being heard by their potential buyers, you'll need less door-to-door action. That's what I've seen over my time. Yeah.
That's interesting because whenever I think we get like people coming around trying to sell different options for like in my area electricity.
Yeah.
And when that doorbell rings, I am so irritated. I do not want to hear anything off the fact they rang my doorbell.
That's right. That's
right. Like I'm anti from the start.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's right, but I mean,
bro, no,
it's normal. Asleep, I'm not trying to have no, bro. I don't got time for this.
Right.
But on the opposite end, it makes sense. Like social media makes sense to me, and the aspect of efficiency. If I can spend time doing this and blast it in a way that I couldn't do door to door, to me that's just more efficient, and it makes sense to me. So like podcasting, social media, things like that, to get my message out made sense. I just had to figure out what people wanted and what they were looking for, and then the consistency part.
Which to me is like, you know, as you know, that's new behavior, right?
Yeah.
Like it's a grind to get up and go door to door and, you know, interrupt folks and tell people no, you know, and it can work. You know, I saw my first couple of deals going door to door and like medical device like 10 years ago. So there's a place for it. However, though, like you're saying, being efficient, you know, honing your message, getting with the people that actually want to, that whole timing factor that matters a lot.
Yeah.
Like, you know, because if your lights were out and that guy knocked on the door, hey, you might be ready to talk about some electricity,
right?
You know,
right.
Like, so, you know, like to me, it's a lot of that, but I think that and more that we can get better at this angle of it and getting in front of the right folks at the right time, on when they're looking for it, or not even looking for it, but when they're just available. Right. You're scrolling, you come across something that's relevant. Okay, let me go down a rabbit hole a little bit. Yeah.
Would you say that your podcast has helped your sales?
So I've leveraged it now to make sure that it does contribute to the engagement factor of keeping us top of mind. When I first started my show, no, I was just on the mic, just rambling. I didn't have a clue about what I was up to. So
my tape, man.
I was just like, you know, I was excited about the platform, man. So
yeah.
You know, and that was all I needed, because that was my goal, really. But over time, you know, you try to find how you can, you know, have the right message for the right audience. And I just love the art of having conversations with strangers, bro, and just getting to know people. And so that's always, doesn't have to have an agenda for me always with the podcast thing. I'm good with that too. But if people are looking to monetize it, having your message and knowing who your audience is, and building content around what the problems are, around their pain points, is the way to do it.
Yeah. Should veterinarians trust reps, and how do we rebuild that trust?
Oh man, you shouldn't trust anybody. You shouldn't trust anybody outside, man. You know, all right, but I'll be serious. Trust but verify. Like just verify everything.
Yep.
I mean everything in business. Like I mean, like people hear about all these celebrities, accountants, not paying their taxes and they end up in jail. Like, you know, right?
Man.
Like, You
Yeah.
can't, I mean, like, so I think it's good to take in information, expose you to something new, but then do your own homework. And just because someone drops a research paper off, read it. Who funded the
Mhm.
research paper? And like, is it even good research? There's a lot of that out there, as you probably heard. And so, yeah,
Yeah,
verify all
for
of it.
sure.
Yeah, yeah.
That's one thing I do feel like people in the vet field are good. I think they're naturally skeptical.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah.
But it's healthy though, I think too. Though, well, I should ask you: do you feel like it's done in a healthy way, or almost in like a cynical way? Because it could be taken down a
Oh,
very negative pathway, depending on how you
okay.
want. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
To each other, it's unhealthy.
Mm,
To things like sales and what we're talking about, it is healthy.
yeah.
I think we are really hard on each other.
Really?
Oh man, yeah. Um,
Why? Well, film,
you know,
yeah.
I've okay. So I think the need and this comes from not having the respect from the world, I think,
Hmm.
but the need to feel important, to be heard, to be respected is so great that everyone's fighting to make sure that they have that position.
Ooh, it's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, this is one I really would love to do a panel interview on. We should do that soon, because and on that topic alone, I will say I've run into numerous situations in the field where I feel like it's natural for someone to be angry or be upset or lead with skepticism versus heart when it comes to each other.
Hmm.
We talk about day versus night shift, which is a long standing thing, right? And that's not exclusive to vet med, but it's
That gets
very,
competitive too, huh?
oh yeah, it's just ruthless, bro.
Hmm.
Um, then you just talk about from, with RVT to RVT, RVT to VTS, experienced vet assistant to RVT. There's, I mean, yeah, it goes, it goes.
I gotta say, it's unfortunate to hear that though. Knowing just some of the stats behind, like, well, just kind of knowing a little bit, not even knowing the stats, just hearing people how hard they're working. Nobody's, like I said in the beginning, I don't think anybody's slacking in this space. And then you're internally people going hard on you,
Yeah,
and that's tough.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
um, and then knowing that the wages don't compensate you for that either. It's all because, like, sometimes if it's like Wall Street, from what I can
Mm-hmm,
imagine, I've never done any
mm-hmm.
of that activity, but everybody's talking down to everybody. It's a bloodbath out there, supposedly, but people are getting paid millions, right?
Right, right.
So it's like, I'm here to
Yeah,
go to war every day, and that's it. But when you're doing it for a passion, and people are beating up on you, that's got to feel different as well, though.
yeah, and I this is a great time to tie in what I was saying earlier. Why I feel like people should be actively doing work on their mental health,
Mm,
especially in the field of veterinary medicine, because that angst, that deep rooted feeling, negative feeling. We talk about ADHD, we talk about so many different mental health issues.
mhm.
Um, it's perpetuated on the floor onto your coworkers and peers. And I say that because in order to be in the space to give to others as I do, I have to continually check my feelings. I have to be in control and understand what it is that I want, why I'm doing what I'm doing, how I'm received.
Right.
And I'd even take it a step further. And I know we didn't come here for this, but
We're here.
as a black man,
Mm-hmm.
that early, a black, I'm eldest of six kids, black man from Oakland, California. That I learned that early.
Not over here, because I promise you, it was one of my upcoming questions about this
Okay.
place. Like,
Yeah.
do you feel like, you know, being, I feel like this is a primarily female dominated, woman dominated
Yeah.
industry.
Yep.
Seems I can't give you the numbers. I'm just going off the eyeball test here.
Sure.
Um,
Agreed.
and so, as a black male, though, do you feel like when you find us in the whatever arena you find us in, the show, go into another office, whatever, is there love with that connection? Like, oh,
Oh, if it's if they're good with themselves, it's instant.
yeah, yeah,
Instant. Like,
yeah,
oh man.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah,
you good? You good? Like, where you good? You know? Like, oh man, you know. All right. And then button up real quick and you know.
I can't tell you. That's one thing I felt the most on this side of the business over the human side.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, on the human side, it'll be fly too. I see some, especially when we used to sell to a lot of teams, and we go in there, you see a couple of black athletic trainers, people that we really work with. It was normally love. It was like quick,
Mm-hmm.
instant connection, boom. All right, bet. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And there's love from a lot of people. It's not just black people, but whenever you see us, it's like, yo, yeah, they like,
Yeah.
we try to give a little extra word. You know what I mean?
Right.
Let people know, like, yo, I see you in this space. We don't see a lot of us, whatever the comment is.
Right.
But in Vet Med, it's wild because, like, it's not even that I don't see us a lot, because I don't. We're not like a lot on the human side either side, but I really don't see. I see it's even less on this side. But I'll be at a show, and these trade shows like this one I'm at DC. I'm probably 20,000, 30,000 folks. We passing through these things.
Snowing in there.
Oh, bro, bro, stand out, bro. Like, you see me, like, hey, oh, I see him, like, where's Waldo, bro? I'm out. Like, he is like, where's Waldo with, like, a lightning
Right.
bolt cap on or something, like, easy as
Yep.
man to fly.
Yep.
But when I see us, like, even just in a sea of people, I feel love.
Yeah.
It could be like a head nod from across the room of like 100 other people. You just go, you know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's nothing deep, and it's just cool to have that experience, though. And that's something that I do feel like is different in this space, at least for us. You know what I mean? As black
Yeah.
males. So yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, and I I'm gonna get a little personal here, and there are the work that I'm doing is to tackle specifically representation.
Mm-hmm.
And why I focus on representation is because of that feeling, and knowing what it feels like to be the one. And what I will say is, for us, black and brown folks, make sure you are showing love, because what it takes to be the only one and be good with that is strength, it's
Mm-hmm.
power, it's
Mm-hmm.
resilience, it's boldness,
Mm-hmm.
and that should be celebrated, hands
Well,
down.
well said.
So I would, if we're out there and we see each other, give the nod, speak,
Mm-hmm.
say hello. I don't care if you got drama or anything. When we together, we together. And let's really, and that's not just, I'm not saying we exclude anyone else or anything like that.
Right.
But what I will say is, we are very underrepresented. So it takes all of us.
Yeah, man, like, bro, that was well said, and I think that it is something that I'll throw this to the audience, because if you're challenged by that conversation, or you feel like conflicted, like, I don't just talk because I'm Black, I'm not doing that, right? Just think about how it is whenever you want some love. You know what I mean? You want somebody to kind of, you know what I mean, like give you a look, or just acknowledge you in a different way. Because I think it's important to do the things that you want to see happen. And if you roll with the same mentality, and you're like complaining about things not cooking the way you want them to cook, and you're doing life the same, then you got to start looking at yourself like, all right, I want something different to happen. Let me step outside my shell. Nobody's asking anybody to be anybody's best friend,
Right.
and go on
Right.
dinner dates. Nobody's asking for this, right? Like,
No,
but I do think that if you want to see different things happen, then you got to challenge yourself to be part of that change.
I don't know one person. I didn't even open it. One person in this world that doesn't see someone when you're feeling a little singled out and
Mm-hmm.
you see someone that's like you and they embrace you. I don't know one person who cannot appreciate that feeling.
You all want that love, always, always, always.
So why
The,
not?
the, the best equation for it too, and is for me, is like whenever you travel outside the U.S.,
Hmm.
it's like, when you travel around the country, like if you're from the same town, boom, somebody be from the Bay Area, y'all probably
Yeah,
gonna link talk Bay Area stuff.
yeah,
I'm from Pittsburgh. I see another Pittsburgher. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna talk Pittsburgh stuff, and
yeah.
that's just around the U.S., right?
Right.
Let me go up to Canada. All right, you won't see a lot of us up there. It's cool.
Hmm.
Let's go, same thing. But you start going overseas, boy, the moment you hear somebody speaking with your dialect, with your energy, with your language, you don't care where they're from. You
Yeah.
don't care if you're from northern Mississippi, bro. You're like, yo, you from the States?
Right.
Like they can have the least in common with you, or the most. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Like, yeah, I'm from the same country. It feels like, okay, I know a little bit more what's happening here. There's a and there's a it's, you kind of down regulate a little bit. You don't let your guard down,
Yeah.
but you can just kind of like, all right, get my
Hmm.
off the
Hmm.
ceiling.
Right. Little bit of that twang slang
That's
come out just a little bit.
that's right. That's right,
Hmm.
man. It's good. No, man. It's a lot of conversation around, man. I think we could do this a lot, bro. I'm just putting that out there to you, because I think that, you're working on some big things. You got a mission, and people need platforms, man. People need to be heard, and uh, yeah, the things I'm cooking on as well, I think could just be helpful to some of the things that you're already doing.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, I don't have an ego in this, and I accept any and all help, and I'm open to learning on this journey. I'm enjoying this.
Same.
I mean, making connections like we're having right now, and and doing that repeatedly, man, it fills my heart. I'm learning more about myself. I'm learning about my surroundings. I'm gaining meaningful relationships in the meantime, bro. I'm living.
Life, bro. I
That's
mean,
right.
and that's the thing I'm learning too. I'm not one to sit here and say I got anything figured out, but beyond the couple of things that I've done
Yeah,
uh, once or twice in the past. But it's just like you get into a nice rhythm, and you start doing meaningful things, and that's what it's about. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. What you think? We're coming up on a 60-minute mark here.
yeah.
Looks like we're gonna have to do a part two.
Part two it is, man.
Yeah,
Because I feel like we could press into the whole piece about podcasting, which is a
yeah,
separate gambit to really get into, bro. The whole content creation thing.
yeah.
Um, I, I, I I definitely want to give that time to breathe. Let me just say
Okay.
that. Yeah,
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 it's man, it's a journey. It's a grind, and I've been watching you and checking out your platforms, and I'm really interested because you've been doing it a while.
oh yeah, 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 yeah. I, I'll share a little bit, and because we could totally do a part two on it, but like I started numerous shows. Uh, used to have a podcasting agency when I was back in LA. We
Hmm.
used to help produce shows for folks, and I started back in like 18, I guess. And but anyway, it was one of those things like you just learn, just constantly learning about how to do this, how to monetize it. Because yeah, like, I don't try to hire for people at all. That I'm trying to make some money. I'm trying to
Yeah,
get paid. That's why
yeah,
I got into sales. I want to do it the right way. I want to add value to people's life. I want to sell products that actually move the needle for folks. So if I'm asking for 1,000, hopefully what I'm doing is going to bring you 10,000. Like that's the type of mindset I want to work with it. But so when I was doing the podcasting lens, like we started different things with partners done by myself. And one thing that I see now is this place where I'm finding tools and ways to be efficient using AI, that you can create content with people. I like doing the human thing. I love the in-person thing too. So the whole podcast and in-person thing is a vibe that I'm going to get back, but doing it in a way that easily sets people up for other opportunities. So that's the biggest thing I'm up to right now, man. It's like this thing with like helping people get into med tech, side hustling the way into med tech. That's what I'm about. So like med tech Sundays is like this newsletter I put together, and let's do it monthly because I'm busy. But the goal is really open up opportunities for other companies to work with other side hustlers that are doing things and find some, find ways that they can have some nice win-wins for everyone.
Connect the dots. Yes, sir.
That's it, bro. That's it.
Yeah. Well, Joe, thank you for spending a little time with me and just chatting it up. This conversation was amazing.
I mean, like Coach Ryan, man, I gotta say, man, you got a great thing going. So definitely want to throw some more gasoline on this fire. Let's run back part 2 though, because I mean we got some other topics we didn't even touch. I got questions for you as well. So I don't want you to feel like we're gonna be getting out of here without us having a part 2, followed up, man. But dude, I just want to say for all your listeners, great work, bringing up good, great topics that people don't want to jump into. But I'll tell you, the fact that you're brave enough to be vulnerable, what you're experiencing and feeling for the industry, you're probably speaking for thousands of other folks who just didn't want to speak up and say anything about it, for whatever reason. And I can appreciate that too, because they might be in a situation where they can't mentally, from where their jobs are, whatever it may be, they just couldn't. And so having folks like yourself are needed, man. And keep up all this good work, bro.
I appreciate that, man. I look forward to working with you in the future, or and learning from you, and continuing to grow this thing, man. I'm really excited to be here, and I'm just like humbled and thankful to have the position. So it's not about me.
Makes 2 of us.
Yes, sir. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is Ryan from Athletic Conceptual Training. You know who's over there, Mr. Joe Lemon. Look for part 2. Look for part 2.
More to come.
Yes. All right, everybody, you have a great day. We're going to get this out to you soon. If you have questions, don't hesitate. Reach out. Joe Lemon, Instagram, YouTube. You can find them there. Athletic Conceptual Training.
LinkedIn's the best, though. I got to say.
YouTube? Okay.
Well, I would say LinkedIn's the best for me. If you
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn.
Yeah. Okay. Reach out to Joe Lemon on LinkedIn. Don't hesitate. You can reach me, all the platforms, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, not so much TikTok, but yeah, I'm out there. You can find me.
Yeah, you are.
All right, guys. Thank you, and enjoy your day.
All right, everyone.
Hang on, Joe.